Hi everyone. I just wanted to show you how to create your Works Cited page, and that is the page where you list all the sources that you used for your project. And in this case, for The Great Gatsby, we should have at least 2 articles from a database and 1 citation from the book, The Great Gatsby itself. So see what the end product is. The Works Cited is the last page of your project, but it's actually the first page you do when you're doing your project. This would be the first one your teacher asks you to hand in so that he or she can look at your sources. So this is what our final result is going to look like. So you'll notice that we do have it, our name and the page number at the top, but we're not going to worry about that right now. What we're going to worry about is we have to title the page Works Cited, and notice that it's centered at the top. You'll also notice here that this person used 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different articles or books for this research project. You don't know you have to use as many, but this one used 7. And the reason I know that is because I can look at this page and see what's called the hanging indent. So I know that the first citation or the first article starts at the very left of the paper. So you see that this person's last name, Althusa, is the beginning of the citation. And then line 2 and line 3 are indented. And this is called a hanging indent, which you have to do for a works cited page. So it tells the teacher or the professor that all of this information is just for one source. If you look at the second one, the second article, the author's name was Baldassaro. Okay, and notice that the second line with all that information is indented, the hanging indent. So that's number 2. The third one, Ballantyne, is the author's last name. It always starts with the author's last name. But if you can't find the author, you're going to start with the title of the article that you read. And I'll show you how to find that. Okay, so you see that Ballantyne is the third one. Bechdel is the next one, and notice that citation was only one line. Okay, there's no indent underneath it, so that was just one source. The next one, Brogan, Jacob, and line 2 and line 3 underneath that are indented, the hanging indent. So I know that all this information goes together. And then the last one, Ferreter. Notice how that's just one line. It was nice and short, so that's just one. And the last one is Grasso. The author is Grasso. And line 2 and line 3 underneath it are indented, hanging indent. So that tells the professor that all of this information is for one source. Now notice too that all of these articles are listed alphabetically. So you are going to alphabetize this page, your 3 sources that you're going to have, 3 or more, by either the author's last name, or if that's not given, you're going to alphabetize it by the title of the article, and I'll help you with that. Okay, so notice, Works Cited, that's the name of the page. It's at the top, and it's highlighted, and it's centered. And then all of the other citations are listed below in a hanging indent format, which I'll show you in 1 second. So this is what you're ending up with. Okay, now how do we get it? All right, perfect. So everyone was using, we'll start with the 2 database articles, right? So you went to the library website and you clicked on databases and you found your articles. So if, for example, I have an article in front of me, so say, for example, this is the article that I choose. Since we pay for access to these databases, the good thing about paying this fee is that they do the citation or the work cited for you. So you don't have to go investigate where's the author, where's the title, when was this last updated, when was the copyright, who is the publisher, all of that. You don't have to do that because they actually put it in MLA format for you, which is awesome. So there's 2 ways you can see that. You can see it up at the top where it says Cite. Okay, so you can see at the top of the page, it'll say Cite like this. Okay, so you'll see that there is the title of the article is 1920s. There's not an author given, which is fine. So we're going to start with the title. So that's how we'll alphabetize that. So you notice right here, it's an MLA format, which is exactly what I want it to be. And so I have it all here. It's in perfect format, and I can just select it and copy it. Okay, now I can go paste it into Word. So you can use the Cite tool there. The other thing that you can do is if you scroll to the bottom of the article, it's always at the bottom, the very last thing, again, you'll see it here, source citation, and we're using MLA. We're not using APA or Chicago or another format. We're using MLA. Okay, so again, the same thing. You're going to highlight that all, And you can either Control C if you want to, or just click select and copy. That's up to you. And now we can go and paste it into a Word document for ourselves. Okay, so I have mine here. So I'm going to just paste that in. All right. It's not in perfect format yet, but that's okay. I can fix that later. So there's my first article. All right, let's go get the second article from a database. So my second article is from one of the files that I had given to a few of us. So if you have it in your drive, so say for example, I did, let's see, causes of the depression. All right. So here's an article that I have. And now again, I'm not in the database, but it was in my drive. So I look at the bottom of the article. Since it's in a database and they do it for me because we pay the money for this access to these articles, all the way at the bottom. Come on, come on. Yikes, that was a long one. Okay, so you see here again, source citation. It did it for me. Thank you. All right, so I am going to copy from the very beginning of the word. Now I noticed that they don't tell me the author. They don't know who the author was. So where I'm going to look for the title. So I'm going to alphabetize this by the title. So I'm going to copy this. All right, so Control C, Command C, however way you want to do that. And now I want to just paste this into my Word document. Okay, so I'm just going to click enter and I'm going to put the next one in. All right, so now I have two articles here. All right, let's format this out. All right, so what you want to do is start at the top of the line, go to the top of the page, and we're going to click center. Okay, and we're going to title this page Works with an S. Okay, so capital W, lowercase ORKS space, and capital C, CITD. Works cited, meaning the works of literature or the articles that I use to show to my teacher. Okay. The other thing you want to do is to highlight everything. So you can use your trackpad to highlight everything, or you can do Control A, meaning Control All. Okay, so I highlighted everything, and then I can just change the font. You have to change your font to Times New Roman. That's a fact. It can't be something pretty or flowery. You always want to use the standard for research topics, which is Times New Roman. Okay, and now the font, the size of the lettering is going to go to 12. Okay, so everything stays 12. The other thing that we need to do is to make sure that everything is double spaced. All right, so you're going to go to the top to your editing tools and you're going to click on line spacing. You're going to make sure everything is doubled. All right, so there we go. So now I have two articles, but look at it. It looks like one big blob. It looks like one. I need it to look like two separate. So I'm going to do what's called the hanging indent. Remember that one? Okay, so here's my first one. I'm just going to, and my second one, I'm going to highlight these. Excuse me. I'm going to highlight my first one. Okay, and I'm going to go up to the top where it says format. All right, and then we're going to do aligning and indenting. So hold on to that. Arrow keep over to the bottom. Indentation options. Okay, now this is a special type of indentation. So you're going to go to the bottom and you're going to say it's a hanging indent, meaning the first line is to the left and the second and third line are going to be indented in. Okay, and we indent them in 0.5. Okay, so it's just like a half an inch, right? And click apply. So now notice you can clearly see that this is one citation. The first line is to the left. Second line is indented, okay? Hanging indent. All right, let's do the second one. So here's my second one. Again, format. We're going to go aligning and indenting. Scroll down to the bottom. It's a special indent. It's called hanging. And we want the second line to go in 0.5 and click apply. Okay, so there we go. So now I have to double check. I have two citations, two database articles, already in MLA format, right? Now I have to make sure they're alphabetical. So by the very first word on this page, that's how we alphabetize it. So since this one starts with the numbers always go to the top, always. Okay, so that's easy. So this article was called 1920s. Done. It stays first. Then my next article begins with a C. All right, so the next one I have to do is the actual book. So you should have two databases plus one book. So let's add that one in. Okay, so Google Docs already has it for you. So you're going to go up to the top to Tools, and you're going to go down to Citations. So it has the citation tool in it for you if you need it to be. So now we know we're using the MLA format, which is great. And now it wants to know, well, what do you want me to find? What am I looking up? So I'm going to click on Add Citation. And it's going to say, well, what type of thing did you look for? Well, this was a book. And how was it accessed? So we all did it from a print. We all had copies of the book in front of us. So I'm going to click on Print. And now I don't have the ISBN in front of me, so I'm going to just do it manually. Okay, so I'm looking for the author. So we're going to do F. Scott Fitzgerald. And you can find all of that from the cover and the title page of your book. Okay, the title, Great Gatsby. And so just look at your book. Miss Laughlin will help you with that. Great Gatsby. And look at who the publisher of yours was. One was called Knopf. And the year that this book was published was in, let's see, 1968. The city is New York. Okay, it didn't have a special edition or a volume for that. Okay, so I'm just going to go down to Add Citation Source. Sorry. All right, so now here it is. So it asked me all of those questions and I filled it in. And thank you, Google Docs, for putting in the right MLA format for me. Okay, so at the bottom, it's going to say, do you want to insert this article or this book onto the Works Cited page? Yes, I do. So there it goes. Hello. So there's my third one. Okay. Now, I'm going to take this out because I don't need it. If it has an extra works cited, just take it out. Now, you notice you can see on the page, this third citation of the actual book was very short, so it was one line, so there was no hanging indent going on. So I have 1920s is one article with a hanging indent. The other article, number 2 from the database, Causes of the Depression, is number 2 with a hanging indent. And the third citation was the actual book that we all used in print. And notice that citation is only one line. And I'm so smart, it's actually already alphabetized. So 1920s, remember if it's a number, it's always first. And then after that, it's ABC order by the first word. So Causes was obviously second, and Fitzgerald, the title of the author, that's how it's alphabetized. So 1920s, C and F. So I am in perfect spot. So there's your works cited, ready for your teacher. And then we'll go on to the other parts of the research paper setup in a few minutes. If you have any questions, please let me know. I hope this helps.